Daniela, a young woman who found hope in the midst of despair. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Daniela was just an 18-year-old girl who was going through the harsh reality of the streets after the tragedy of losing her mother. One gray morning, while searching for some food in an old shelter, he came across a forgotten box. Intrigued, she decided to open it. Inside she found old, worn documents that appeared to belong to a family who, like her, had faced the pain of loss. What Daniela didn't know was that those documents were much more than just random pieces of paper. They contained secrets about the history of an important heritage and possibly the key to the survival of his own life. Intrigued, she realized that returning those documents could be not only an insignificant gesture, but also an opportunity to change her destiny. As she walked through the city, Daniela wondered, who are these people? What secrets could my bare feet uncover? And so, curiosity prompted her to investigate more about the history to which those documents belonged. In moments like these, Daniela's remembered the adventures he had seen in films like The Journey and Raiders of the Lost Ark, where brave protagonists faced challenges in search of their truths. Through her street acquaintances, Daniela not only began to gather information about the family behind the documents, but also made valuable friends. Each answer brought a new mystery to solve, and each step brought her closer to a destination she had never imagined. What seemed like a simple return soon became a search for identity and an opportunity to create meaningful bonds. Throughout her journey, Daniela learned that acts of kindness can resonate far beyond oneself. What secrets about his family awaited him? And would the search for these documents lead her to a reunion with lost hope? Stay tuned, because throughout this video, we will reveal how the courage and determination of a young woman on the street can bring new lights to your life. Prepare to be moved by this story of transformation and discovery. Arturo had always been a brilliant businessman, surrounded by luxury and power. But one sunny morning, an unexpected delivery of documents would change his life forever. Carrying a simple briefcase, a determined young woman appeared at the door of her mansion. What she had to say could shake the pillars of his existence. "Did you know that your past is about to be revealed?" the young woman said, her eyes shining with determination. The phrase echoed in Arturo's mind, like distant thunder on a clear day. He watched, intrigued, as she unfolded papers that revealed buried secrets. Who was she? What did you want? Questions formed a storm in his mind. Arturo had built his fortune with effort and dedication, but there was a mystery that threatened everything. The young woman, named Isabella, presented a story of betrayal and lost love that united his family with hers in ways she had never imagined. There was a chance that past mistakes would not only alter his fortunes, but also have profound emotional consequences. As the two talked, Arturo began to realize that his life, marked by control and logic, was about to turn upside down. Isabella's presence awakened in him a mixture of curiosity and nervousness, as if she were the key to a vault of emotions that he had never dared to open. What if you chose to open yourself to this new reality, instead of fighting it? In the heat of the conversation, Arturo found himself asking questions he had never imagined. What else do you know about me? How can this change everything I've built? Isabella, with the determination of a young woman seeking justice, only confirmed her suspicions. Secrets have the power to transform lives, he responded enigmatically, leaving in the air the promise of revelations that would change his destiny. How would Arturo react to this unexpected encounter? Life is a dance between choice and consequence, and now he was at a crucial step. The decision he made could rewrite not only his future, but also the life around him. Would you be prepared to face the truth? What if you had the opportunity to change the course of your life with a single proposal? Daniela, a determined woman full of dreams, was about to do just that. Faced with the difficult financial situation of his friend Arturo, he decided it was time to act in a completely unexpected way. On a sunny afternoon, while the leaves danced in the wind, Daniela found Arturo sitting on a park bench, his expression full of concern. He had recently lost his job and the bills were piling up. However, what could have been a cry for help became a revolutionary idea. "Arturo," he began, "what if instead of asking you for money, I proposed a partnership?" His look of surprise immediately ignited a spark of curiosity. Arthur was restless. I was expecting an offer of financial aid, not a business proposal. But Daniela had something else in mind, creating a startup that combined her passion for art and technology. They always dreamed of creating something together, but life seemed to have charted a different path. Now, that moment was the call to adventure that they both needed. Daniela's proposal was not just about money, it was about changing their lives, risking everything for what they truly believed in. But such a bold idea brought with it a series of questions. Would they be prepared to face the challenges of a new company? What would happen if they failed? What would they gain? With a spark of enthusiasm in his eyes, Arturo agreed to give his dream a chance. Thus, the duo began a journey full of challenges, uncertainties, and some moments of pure adrenaline. However, each step revealed fascinating secrets about the world of business and about their friendship that grew stronger every day. As the story developed, Daniela and Arturo discovered that the true value of the proposal was not in the amount of money, but in the courage to reinvent themselves and believe in each other. The hours passed, and with them, not only their finances, but their lives were transformed in ways they never imagined. Marked by this decision, what would happen to them in the next chapters of this adventure? The future awaited them, full of mystery and opportunities. The real transformation had just begun. What if you had the opportunity to change someone's life, but that decision could alter yours? When Daniela made her request to Arturo, the weight of the words floated like a secret about to be revealed. Those unexpected circumstances triggered a week that would mark both his destiny and that of those around him. Arturo was a man of routine, known for his dedication to work and family. The request of Daniela, her young neighbor, was simple, but it had a deep meaning. She needed a home, even if it was temporary. His own life was full of uncertainty, and his desire to stay somewhere safe challenged Arturo's comfort zone. Then the decision was made. What began as a gesture of solidarity became a delicate dance of raw emotions and feelings. When Daniela moved into Arturo's house, she realized that her daily life was changing. She experienced her joy and sadness, the smiles and tears that accompanied her daily. How is it possible that the presence of a single person can change your home so much? The mystery began to reveal itself. While Arturo wondered about Daniela's past. What had led her to seek refuge? There were secrets buried beneath the surface of his story. As he delved deeper into the narratives they shared at the table, Arturo also began to confront his own fears and insecurities. What did you really know about the lives of the people around you? Each conversation revealed new layers of depth, creating a special bond between them. The week passed full of tension and revelations. Arturo began to contemplate the implications of his decision. What if Daniela was more than a neighbor? What if, by helping her, he rediscovered parts of himself forgotten by time? Questions danced through his mind, piquing his curiosity and challenging his understanding of empathy. At the end of the week, after a night where vulnerability finally met courage, Arturo knew that nothing would ever be the same. The reception trip transformed not only Daniela's life, but also yours. What he could never imagine is that by opening the door to Daniela, he was also opening his heart to new possibilities and possibly a new beginning. Have you ever wondered what happens when the search for love and family comfort collides with the harshness of skepticism? This was the reality of Daniela, a young woman full of hope, when she found herself on the side of Lorena, Arturo's wife. Their coexistence quickly became a field of silent battles. From the moment Daniela entered Arturo's life, she brought with her a luminosity that brightened the atmosphere. The way his eyes sparkled when he spoke of dreams and plans contrasted sharply with Lorena's often cynical expression. She, a woman marked by disillusionment, saw Daniela as an intruder, a foolish hope that threatened to tear down the walls she had built around her. Family gatherings became tense. Daniela, always willing to create bonds, was in charge of preparing dinners, while Lorena only made sarcastic comments, as if she wanted to sabotage that happy spirit. Do you think harmony is built only with laughter? Lorena asked, with a cold smile. The air was charged with a mystery. What had led Lorena to such cynicism? What secrets did your past hide? Daniela's perplexity increased with each encounter. How could an optimistic young woman fit into such a heavy dynamic? He was constantly faced with provocative questions that echoed in his mind. Can Lorena, with her icy gaze, change? Or would it be Daniela who would have to adapt to the harshness of the new reality? As living together became unbearable, Daniela decided it was time to discover the real reasons behind Lorena's behavior. She didn't just want to win a battle, I wanted to understand. What was there in common between the two women? Were they more similar than previously imagined? On a day marked by a heated discussion, Daniela dared to ask Lorena about her fears and frustrations. What would follow that question was shrouded in a deep mystery, which promised to transform not only their lives, but the notion of family that each of them had built until then. What Daniela would discover about Lorena could very well change everything. Daniela was sitting in the darkness of the room, with the words trembling on the tip of her tongue. Have you ever felt invisible in a world that doesn't care? He asked, giving Arturo an intense look. There was an inexplicable weight to that question, an echo of experiences that had shaped their lives. Arturo, absorbed by Daniela's fragility, let himself be carried away by curiosity. What could make someone feel this way? As he began to share his difficult story, the tension in the air grew. Daniela described a childhood marked by absences, as if each memory were a scar, a painful reminder of a father who was never there. His words danced between desperation and hope, creating a vivid portrait of an internal struggle that many would never understand. Daniela's narrative was both a scream and a whisper of fragility, revealing a profound mystery. How do childhood wounds shape the way we love and trust? Arturo, in silence, reflected on his own childhood. He remembered the figure of his father, always absent, a shadow that floated over his memories. Questions appeared in his mind like lightning in a storm. Was he, too, doomed to repeat the same mistakes? Will Daniela, with her visible scars, be the key to understanding her own pain? The mystery of their connection grew more intriguing with each shared story. At the end of Daniela's narrative, Arturo encountered a surprising revelation. The experiences of pain and abandonment, although unique, created an invisible bridge between them. He asked himself, how to convert these wounds into strength. The possibility of finding healing intertwined with another soul became more and more real. As the hours passed, a new connection blossomed in the space between them, woven by history and empathy. What started as an outburst turned into a shared journey in search of answers and redemption. Daniela and Arturo, now intertwined by their stories, realized that exploring their pain could be the path to the future they both wanted. The question remained in the air, where would the secrets of their childhood take them? Lorena looked out the window as the rain drummed on the glass, her mind confused. Daniela's presence in her life worried her. Was the new friend an intruder disguised as kindness, or simply a young woman looking for love and acceptance? Doubt consumed her, and a question hung in the air. How far can a friendship go before it becomes a threat? Since Daniela arrived in the city, everything had changed. The energy that came from her was contagious, the laughter and conversations seemed to bring a new glow to Lorena's life. However, there was something between the lines, a security makeup that gave me a shiver. A few furtive glances, a long smile. Lorena began to pay more attention to details that she had previously ignored. And with each new discovery, the line between friendship and distrust grew thinner. One night, Lorena decided to go for a walk alone. As he passed through the small illuminated square, he saw Daniela chatting animatedly with another group. A strangeness invaded her when she recognized one of the faces, that of an ex-boyfriend who had left her deep emotional scars. What was Daniela doing there? Was it a coincidence or a conspiracy? The confusion led her to reflect, how could she fully trust someone who seemed to know so much about her past, but revealed so little about his own? Puzzled, Lorena remembered other situations in which Daniela had been protective. What seemed like a sincere gesture now seemed like a trap. The questions accumulated. What were Daniela's true motives? Did she want to be friends, or was she just smiling to cover up dark intentions? As the days passed, the mystery surrounding Daniela only increased. The secrets made her even more fascinating, but also terrifying. Could Lorena unmask the truth? And, most importantly, what was she willing to risk to protect her heart? The wheels of curiosity turned and each answer seemed to generate new questions. The psychological game between the two women revealed dangers that could go far beyond friendship. Only time will tell if Daniela was a savior or a predator. Lorena's only certainty was that she needed to discover the truth before it was too late. On a rainy night, the sound of the storm seemed to rival the tension in the air. The meeting between Lorena and Daniela promised more than a simple conversation. What they both did not know was that, in a quick dialogue, hidden secrets would be revealed, exposing Lorena's deepest insecurities. It was impossible to ignore the way the two looked at each other. Lorena, with her always so eloquent opinions, felt limited by Daniela's trusting presence. The question that echoed in Lorena's mind was clear: why, in the presence of Daniela, do I feel that words are not enough? This question not only had a simple answer, his insecurities were intertwined with the need for acceptance and validation. During the meeting, Lorena tried to maintain a facade of security, while Daniela talked about her achievements and experiences. Lorena began to question her entire path. She has everything I ever wanted, but is that true? I thought. The internal struggle boiled, but the image of a confident woman kept her quiet. The mystery of what was going through Lorena's mind grew with every word that left Daniela's lips. Amidst the laughter and smiles, tension arises. Suddenly, Daniela touches on a delicate topic, a past that has never been completely overcome. Have you ever felt invisible, despite being surrounded by people? How does that affect you? Daniela asked, oblivious to the impact her words had. The question hung in the air like a cloud about to break. It was only a few seconds, but it was enough for Lorena to feel hit by her own insecurities. As if a spell had been broken, Lorena was finally able to open up. Sometimes I feel like a shadow of my own ambitions, he confessed, his voice shaking. The sincerity revealed a new look in Daniela, who was as surprised as she was understanding. The connection created in that moment became a shared secret, and Lorena's defenses began to crumble. What was really at stake in that meeting was the long-awaited freedom to be vulnerable. At the end of the night, the questions remained: what is the price of acceptance? Is insecurity a burden or an open door to growth? Unsurprisingly, the answers may never be simple, but the depth of what was revealed would forever change the way Lorena saw herself. Arturo always wondered, how far would he go to discover the truth? What should have been a solid, trust-based relationship began to fade, like a distant echo. Discomfort took over his mind after noticing the whispers of Lorena's conversations on the phone, a sequence of giggles that left a bitter taste of doubt. He decided it was time to investigate. With a mixture of fear and curiosity pounding in his chest, Arturo began to follow his wife in her daily routines. Every step he took seemed like a deeper dive into an abyss of uncertainty. Why did he often go out at night? Who were you talking to on the phone? With each answer he found, new questions arose, as if a web of secrets were forming around him. The truth seemed to be within his reach when an acquaintance approached him in a bar and revealed information that Arturo had never imagined. I saw Lorena with someone, Arturo. A man. It seemed intimate. Those words stabbed into his mind like an icy sword. Could this be the betrayal he feared so much? What would this mean for your world? Determined to reveal the truth, Arturo decided to confront Lorena that night. With adrenaline pumping, he prepared his speech. But the words escaped him when he saw her. His eyes reflected something I couldn't decipher, a mixture of love and sadness. He questioned, but the answer did not come. The silence between them became deafening. Finally, what seemed like an eternity passed, and Lorena decided to open the game. Arturo, I can't lie anymore. The person you saw me with was a childhood friend I hadn't seen in years. We were just reminiscing about the past. The response collapsed the concepts of distrust he had raised, revealing a sincerity he had never expected. The implications were profound. What seemed like a betrayal turned out to be a misunderstanding. What could have ended in separation now paved the way for a new phase of understanding in their relationship. The real question remained within him: what else had he missed? The truth was often more complex than it seemed. What if a single revelation could dismantle a love that seemed unbreakable? That was the question that remained in the air when Daniela accidentally discovered a secret about Lorena, her best friend. On a rainy afternoon, while checking messages on her cell phone, a notification caught her attention: an intimate conversation between Lorena and Arturo, her boyfriend. The salty words of betrayal cut like a knife. The relationship she believed was based on trust and love was now revealed with dark undertones. The next few hours were an emotional whirlwind. Daniela found herself tormented by doubts and questions that did not leave her alone. How could Lorena do this? What else didn't she know about Arturo? And, most importantly, how could a friendship that seemed unbreakable in the face of lies and betrayal crumble? Lorena, on the other hand, had become the personification of an enigma. She was always the loyal friend, the one who listened and advised. But now, with the discovery, Daniela began to gather evidence. There were moments when Lorena looked at Arturo in a way that seemed deeper, more intense than mere friendship. Could this be a clue? And why had Arturo moved away while Lorena became more present in his life? The implications of this betrayal were profound. Daniela found herself at a crossroads. Should she confront Lorena and expose the betrayal, or ignore what she knew and try to keep the peace? Daniela's choice could redefine their relationships forever. Mutual friends, social events, and even their self-esteem were at risk. What should you do when trust is destroyed? As Daniela considered her options, she realized that this situation not only affects the trust between friends, but also the way she sees herself in the world. Each decision brought the possibility of a new path or a deep abyss. With a heavy heart and tumultuous mind, Daniela knew that the choice she made would shape not only her future, but also that of Arturo and Lorena. How would you view these revelations? The answer was looking for a way to emerge, but every second seemed like an eternity. After discovering the truth, Arturo confronts Lorena in a conversation that will lead to the end of their marriage and will leave deep marks on everyone. What would you do if you discovered that the person you love most was hiding a devastating secret? That was the question that was in Arturo's mind, while his heart beat at a frenetic pace. He never imagined that the happiness of his marriage with Lorena could be about to crumble. However, everything changed when he received an anonymous message that revealed dark truths that would mark his destiny. Arturo always believed he knew every detail of Lorena's life. Married for years, the conversations and laughter shared during long nights seemed to strengthen their union. But the moment that message appeared, a shadow of doubt fell over him. Was it possible that everything he knew about Lorena was just a facade? When he finally decided to confront Lorena, the tension in the air was palpable. He found her in the small room where so many memories were made. Face to face, Arturo asked the question that consumed him: why didn't you tell me about your past? The silence that followed said more than 1,000 words. Lorena's expression, a mixture of fear and sadness, made it clear that that moment would not just be a conversation, but a turning point in their lives. The revelation that followed changed everything. Deep down, Lorena hid not only a secret, but a story of pain and regret that accompanied her for years. That conversation culminated in truths about past betrayals, feelings of guilt, and broken promises. As they spoke, each word became a blow, exposing the fragility of what they believed to be their love. What would happen next? Could they rebuild what they once were, or would they be destined to part? These questions resonated inside Arturo, while tears ran down Lorena's face. The future seemed uncertain, and the only certainty was that neither of them would emerge from that confrontation unscathed. The story of Arthur and Lorraine was not just about betrayal, but an example of how the truth can have extraordinary weight. The conversation not only challenged their lives, but also forced them to contemplate what it really means to love someone. They came to understand that, sometimes, the truth is so painful that it can leave deep marks. Not only in the heart, but on the entire path of love. Once upon a time there was a decisive moment, the moment Lorena disappeared. Arturo's life, leaving an unexpected void, but also a new possibility for Daniela. Could love be reborn among the shadows of the past? Arturo has always carried the marks of pain that Lorena left. The memory of shared laughter and broken promises trapped him in a cycle of melancholy. Daniela, for her part, was a strong woman, but her own story was full of loss. What would happen if two wounded hearts found themselves in the middle of an emotional storm? Little by little, the connection between Arturo and Daniela began to flourish. They met in cafes, laughing over trivialities, sharing their stories like two flowers intertwined in a vast and mysterious field. Each conversation seemed to ease some of the pain they both carried. What they didn't imagine was that behind every smile, there were secrets that could change everything. One night, as the starry sky stretched over the city, Daniela asked a question that resonated in Arturo's heart. Do you think we can really free ourselves from the past? The question hung in the air, full of hope and fear. The silence that followed was filled with profound implications. They both knew that the past cannot be erased. But the real question was, can the future be built on the ashes of what was left behind? The hours passed and, enveloped by the mystery of the moment, Arturo finally opened his heart. He revealed the shadows that still tormented him, while Daniela, with tears in her eyes, shared her own scars. This vulnerability brought them even closer, but it also left the most challenging question hanging in the air. Would it be possible to love again without letting the ghosts of the past interfere? Now the connection between them hung like a delicate promise. The universe was conspiring so that, together, they could discover the secrets of their souls. Could Arturo and Daniela write a new story, one that illuminates the dark past they left behind? The answer remained shrouded in mystery, but what followed was an exciting journey full of possibilities. Can a promising future arise from the ashes of difficulties? That was the question that ran through Arturo's mind as he watched Daniela fight the storms of life. From the first day he met her, he realized that her courage was a flame that illuminated even the darkest corners of his challenges. However, there were fogs of uncertainty that surrounded her, and Arthur knew that it would take more than will to succeed. Daniela, a young artist full of dreams, faced the harsh reality of a world that seemed not to value her passion. Constant rejections and lack of financial support were just some of the struggles that kept her awake at night. But there was something special in his eyes, a quiet determination that promised to become something great, if only he had someone willing to support his journey. Arturo, often introspective, decided it was time to act. Accompanying her on her path would not only be a gesture of friendship, but a battle for beauty in a world full of coldness. He then encouraged her to participate in an art contest that could change her life. Daniela's doubts were palpable. Would you be able to face the competition and demonstrate your talent? But Arturo has always believed that sometimes the greatest act of bravery is simply taking the first step. As Daniela prepared, the tension grew. Every brushstroke was infused with hope and fear. He asked himself, what if I fail again? But Arturo was by her side, believing in her potential even when she couldn't. He kept a secret that would intrigue her even more. The pageant judges were famous for recognizing authenticity. Could this be the missing key? Then the day of the contest arrived. The room was full and the anxiety was palpable. It was now or never. Daniela was about to discover if all her fight and Arturo's unconditional support would be worth it. As he looked at the arrangement of his works, the question resonated in his mind, will I be able to transform painful experiences into art that inspires? And so, the mystery of his future unfolded, waiting to be revealed. Could it be that, with the strength of friendship and determination, Daniela would find the light that Arturo always wondered about? Would it be possible to rebuild a bond that was lost so long ago? As a father, his nights were marked by the conversation he had never had with Daniela, his daughter. The silence that separated them was, at the same time, an abyss and a mystery. What would have happened to create this distance? When Daniela arrived in the city, after years living with her mother in another part of the country, the meeting was unexpected. Arturo was in his solitary routine, immersed in papers and work, when he found a note on the door. We need to talk. Daniela. Arturo's heart skipped a beat. What would your daughter say? What were the secrets that time had hidden? The first meeting was tense. The cafeteria room, full of voices, seemed a world away as Arturo and Daniela stared at each other. The girl, almost a young woman now, looked at him with a mixture of anger and curiosity. Arturo broke the silence, telling stories from his childhood, trying to create a safe space where they could connect. But Daniela's response was a sea of repressed tears. What was behind that curtain of emotions? What was the secret that kept her away? The conversation seemed like a puzzle, each piece revealed brought more questions to light. Daniel not only wanted to know about his father, but he also wanted to understand his absence and his pain. What would happen if you both allowed yourself to explore your vulnerabilities and fears? Over time, tensions dissolved and dialogues became bridges of understanding. Arturo began to realize that love is more than just being present, it is listening, it is empathy, it is understanding. As Sundays became regular gatherings, the father-daughter relationship blossomed into a loving atmosphere, fueled by a constant desire to understand each other. There was more and more laughter, more confidences, and more hugs that, before, seemed impossible. The transformation was palpable, but one question remained: how would they deal with the ghosts of the past? The mystery of life is that every relationship brings its challenges, and overcoming them can open doors to an unexpected future. What secrets were still left to reveal? Arturo and Daniela's journey was just beginning, and their bond, now strengthened, promised adventures full of love and understanding. Both faced challenges in their new lives. What does it take to transform difficulties into opportunities for transformation? Once upon a time there was a small town where life seemed peaceful, but behind this facade, two souls were preparing to face their greatest battles. Miguel, an artist in search of recognition, saw his life turn upside down when he closed his gallery. At the same time, Beatriz, a recently laid-off businesswoman, was struggling to find her new path in an unforgiving market. How could these two seemingly different individuals find light in the darkness of their difficulties? On a rainy night, Miguel walked through the deserted streets, thinking about what had led him to this situation. He stopped before a mural covered in vibrant graffiti and asked himself, who doesn't want their colors to show? This reflection led him to a bold idea: transform the city into an open-air gallery. But how could you gather resources and support for this? Was it possible that his vision could flourish in the midst of indifference? On the other side of the city, Beatrice felt lost, suffocated by uncertainty. It was in a cafe where he found a group of young entrepreneurs sharing success stories. Intrigued, she decided to join them, asking herself, what can I apply from their experiences to my life? The conversations awakened renewed determination in Beatriz. If Miguel could dream of coloring the city, he could also reimagine a bright future for his business. While Miguel struggled with difficulties, he had no idea that Beatriz was also on a crusade of self-discovery. At every step, they both asked themselves, what are the secrets that make adversity a springboard to success? The mystery was not just how they would overcome the challenges, but how they could connect at an unexpected turning point. The implications of this plot were profound. At the intersection of art and entrepreneurship, Miguel and Beatriz would meet at a community event, the mural launch party. There they would realize that their individual struggles could intertwine into something much larger. In fact, a common challenge could open doors to opportunities you never dreamed of. What does it take to transform difficulties into opportunities for transformation? Perhaps the answer lies in allowing yourself to dream and in the ability to connect with those who also seek light in dark times. After all, every story of improvement begins with a simple step into the unknown. It was a stormy night when Arturo and Daniela met for the first time, in a small cafe in the center of the city. What seemed like a chance meeting would become the basis of an unbreakable bond. But how could honesty transform two souls marked by trauma? Arturo, a talented artist, bore the scars of a dark past. His childhood was filled with lies and deceptions, which led to a life of loneliness. On the other hand, Daniela, a passionate therapist, struggled with the shadows of failed relationships and disappointments. Meeting someone who had also faced the ups and downs of life sparked a spark of hope. What brought them together, however, was an unexpected conversation that began with a question: have you ever felt truly understood by someone? This simple question created a safe space where they could share their deepest truths. From the secrets kept to the fears that kept them from loving fully, every word exchanged was like a cornerstone of the building they were building together. As the connection between them deepened, the mystery of their personal stories was revealed. Each revelation was a step toward healing. Daniela revealed how the lack of communication in her family led her to seek solace in wrong relationships, while Arturo spoke of the moments when art became his only refuge, but also his prison. With each action, trust grew, and honesty became the essential pillar of the relationship. This dynamic of sincerity not only strengthened the bond between Arturo and Daniela, but also began to heal their emotional scars. They saw themselves as reflections of each other, and true connection inspired them to face their fears. "If you tell me the truth, I can face it," said Daniela, always ready to receive Arturo's revelations. And with each encounter, the question on their minds was, what more can we learn from each other? Together they discovered that honesty is not only an act of vulnerability, but the key to improvement. What could have been just a story filled with pain became a powerful narrative of love and resilience. With each shared truth, Arturo and Daniela not only built a strong relationship, but also found a new path to happiness and emotional freedom. Arturo often asked himself, what does it really mean to have a family? In every moment of loneliness, this doubt resonated in his mind, like a paradox that accompanied him in the silence of his apartment. He had been dedicating himself to his career for years, seeking to advance professionally, when he came across a disturbing truth: success never filled the void left by the absence of family ties. One night, while flipping through an old photo album, Arturo found an image of his sister Daniela. Smiling at a picnic under the shade of a leafy tree, Daniela had always been the light in his life. But what surprised him most was the way she always sought unity and understanding. Her inquisitive eyes forced him to reflect on what he had neglected, the meaning of family. Arturo began to remember the long conversations they always had. Daniela had a unique way of conducting deep dialogues, which often led Arturo to question his own decisions. One memory in particular haunted him: the day he decided to move away, prioritizing his job over his brotherly relationship that needed attention. With that, Arturo suspected that, by walking away, he had not only left Daniela behind, but he had also walked away from himself. Here a mystery began to form. What would be the impact of his absence on Daniela's life? She, who had always dreamed of having a united family, was still struggling to understand the lack of it. Arturo realized that, while he was lost in the search for material triumphs, Daniela always remained faithful to human ties, seeking to create an emotional refuge that he had not been able to provide her. Time passed and the distance between them seemed growing and icy, like the relentless winter. But Arturo's reflection was not limited to his regret. He began to glimpse new implications: the possibility of reconciliation, the opportunity to rebuild the relationship between them, and, finally, the discovery that family love is not limited to blood, but expands in the decisions we make. He wondered, could there still be a way to recover what was lost? As the memories danced in his mind, Arturo understood that Daniela was not just his sister. It represented the key to a deeper understanding of what it really means to have a family. Determined to discover what could still be repaired, Arturo knew the path could be challenging, but the reward could be the greatest of his life. Once upon a dark night, a storm broke out outside, leaving Arturo and Daniela trapped inside a small cabin. What they didn't know was that when the water lapped against the weak walls, their lives were about to change forever. With Lorena out of the picture, a mystery hung in the air. What really happened to Lorena? The question echoed in their minds, but there was more at stake than a simple disappearance. Arturo was always the protector, while Daniela stood out for her intelligence and bravery. She was the mind behind the strategies, and he was the strong arm that carried out his plans. Now, with a new opportunity before them, they both felt the weight of the decision they would make. The future seemed uncertain, but there was something irresistibly attractive about the possibility of embarking on a new journey without Lorena. It was an opportunity to rebuild, but also to confront the ghosts of the past. As the storm raged, Daniela looked Arturo in the eyes and asked, "What would you do if there were no limits for us?" His words floated between them, a ray of hope amidst the chaos. Arturo took a deep breath, feeling the gravity of the moment. I knew that whatever the answer was, it wouldn't be easy. Lorena's secret still existed, and with them, the shadow of fear. The mystery of his disappearance added a layer of suspense to the new stage of their lives. What really made her walk away? The hints of a deeper, darker world were now closer than ever. What would happen if this world swallowed them all at once? When the storm subsided, a new horizon appeared. What was there to do? Face the past or seek a new future? The question beat like a racing heart, challenging each of them to reflect on their own fears. And then, the final question, are we prepared to face the unknown together? With a mystery hanging over their heads and the possibility of a new beginning, Arturo and Daniela were about to discover that the strength of the bond they created could be the key to unraveling not only Lorena's secrets, but also the paths that would lead them. Him. A surprising future. What would you do if, in the blink of an eye, your life changed forever? That was the question that resonated in Laura's mind as she watched little Lucas play in the park. He wasn't just a kid, it was the reason he had found a new purpose. Laura and her husband, Carlos, had faced years of failed attempts to become parents until, one unexpected day, life smiled on them through adoption. Laura and Carlos' story was marked by emotional challenges, but there was something magical about the connection they were building with Lucas. As he ran, spreading laughter and joy, his parents felt a mixture of hope and apprehension. What would your once peaceful nights of sleep be like, now filled with the energy of a curious child? And more importantly, what lessons would they all learn together in this unexpected chapter? The mystery of the family adaptation was revealed. One harsh winter, when the first snow fell, Laura noticed something extraordinary. The difficulties of raising Lucas led her to discover abilities she never knew she had. From building snowmen to telling endless bedtime stories, every challenge became an opportunity for growth. Carlos, in turn, had become a skilled storyteller, inspired by his son's fertile imagination. As the family shared these experiences, a compelling question arose: how far could love take them? Laura and Carlos realized that they were not only creating a home for Lucas, but that he was also molding them. What made them a family was this constant exchange of experiences. In the silence of the night, with the soft sounds of their son sleeping, they reflected on their personal and shared journeys. The future, filled with uncertainty, presented new questions. How would the lessons learned shape their relationships in the future? What exciting secrets await them as they face life's difficulties together? In this field of possibilities, Laura, Carlos, and Lucas found a greater purpose. They understood that regardless of the challenges, each obstacle brought with it a valuable lesson. And so, in the midst of learning and transformation, a new family was being born, ready to face the world side by side. World side by side.